Today we are going to begin the Middle Ages unit of study for social studies this year. Before we begin with the first lesson of the Middle Age unit, let's talk about where the Middle Ages happened at and where we have been this year in social studies. We start in the United States. You cross the Atlantic Ocean. Our first unit of the school year, way back in August and September, was in Mesopotamia. The Iraq, Syria, Turkey. Today, it was the Mesopotamia region made up of Iraq, Syria, and Turkey today. The next unit that we went to was in North Africa, Egypt. Then we went east to India. Then we went northeast to China and Japan. Then we went back west to Greece. Then our last unit that we were just on is Rome, Italy. Now this unit, the next two units that we are going to do, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and then Exploration, all are more eras in history, time periods. They really are based on one main continent, the European continent. England, France, Germany, Spain, those countries, that is the European continent. This continent right here that I'm circling. Now, Middle Ages, Renaissance, and Exploration were all periods in history. You have to go through the Middle Ages, then you get to the Renaissance, then you get to Exploration. So, we're focusing our attention on the European continent, but we're not focused on one specific country. So, today we're going to cover our first lesson in the Middle Age unit. We're going to start today with vocabulary. The first word that we're going to cover today is cathedral. Cathedral was a large and elaborate church in the Middle Ages, but they are still around today. Most cathedrals are known for their high ceilings, their architecture, their stained windows, and other elaborate measures that the cathedrals built to put them apart from other churches during that time and present day. Yes, there are cathedrals still in the world, quite a bit, but many churches today aren't built in the same design as a cathedral was during the Middle Ages. We'll spend more time on that a little bit later on in our unit. Let's move on to chivalry. Chivalry is a code of knighthood. Such rules as bravery, honor, respect to whoever you're trying to honor. That was all knighthood code. Like cathedrals, we would spend a little bit of time during the Middle Ages on the chivalry rules as well. Crusades. Crusades was a series of holy wars, yes, holy wars, between Christians and Muslims. Holy wars is going to usually be a religious purpose between two religious groups, the Christians and the Muslims. It was a series of holy wars which we'll spend time on during the Middle Ages. Feudalism. Feudalism is an economic and political system during the Middle Ages. It is based on the manor system. Such ideas in feudalism include fief and vassal, which we'll spend some time on fief here in just a second. Feudalism also has to do with working conditions and what certain classes in the Middle Ages did during their daily jobs or on their daily jobs. Let's move on to fief. Fief is a large piece of land granted by the king in return for loyalty and protection. So, the fief is the piece of land. In return for that piece of land being granted to a person, that person has to give the landowner or the person who gave it loyalty and protection in times of war, in times of need. If that group goes to war, they have to go and protect. Or if that piece of land gets invaded, they have to protect it. Let's move on to knight. Knight is a son of a noble. A noble is upper middle, high class, trained soldier who gave military service for the right to hold land. So in exchange for military service, a knight would get a piece of land in return, typically, if they made it through their time in service. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. Manor. Manor is a part of the fief. It is a self-sufficient farming estate that nobles and serfs lived and worked. We're going to spend the day on the manor, the fief, and feudalism. We're going to kind of combine the three together and talk about how all three of them relate to each other a little bit later on in the Middle Ages unit. Let's wrap up today with the main thing that people relate the Middle Ages with. The plague. The Black Plague, the bubonic plague, the Black Death. All of those names relate to the plague. The plague was a disease causing a high rate of death. The Middle Age plague is the most famous plague. People relate the Middle Ages with the plague because that was the main event that people remember. It was not the first plague though. We have talked earlier about how other groups suffered through the plague, but the main plague in the Middle Ages, or the main plague that people remember, was the event that happened during the Middle Ages. So today, we have talked about the large church, the cathedral. We have talked about codes of knighthood and chivalry. We have talked about the Holy War between Christians and Muslims, the Crusades. We have also talked about feudalism, fief, and manor, that all three of them relate to each other. We have talked about knights, that you have to be a son of a noble. And we talked about the major event that people relate the Middle Ages with, the plague. This is the first lesson in the Middle Age unit for Social Studies this year.